If everyone thinks crypto is going up, maybe we're going down. Let's talk about it. So we look at X here, used to be known as Twitter. I'm seeing all kinds of posts like this where people think we are just going into the banana phase right away here. And so I see this post, I see this post, so many posts going viral on X. No joke about this gold chart that Raul Powell released. And he said in his video that this is going to, everyone's going to be talking about this, but he said, don't take this so literally that it's going to happen right now overnight. He said people need to chill out. But so many people are posting about this, how the gold, after the gold peaks, then it's the best time to buy Bitcoin. I mean, it actually was a great time in 2020, so that's true. But to say that it's just going to happen like clockwork, I mean, we'll see what happens. But the fact that it's already going viral on X is actually a big warning sign, potentially, to actually be cautious, in my opinion. In my opinion. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I will let y'all know. I will admit it. But this is just, I don't know. I can't fully get behind this because I don't think no one was talking about this in 2020 when no one was saying gold's peaking, so we need to buy Bitcoin. But this time, everybody's talking about it. I mean, everybody's bullish from what I'm seeing on X. I just can't get away from all these bullish posts saying we're just going to go to the moon. But what happens historically when everyone thinks we're going to the moon, then typically we don't. Because, for example, in the last cycle, when we went back here, when we were topping out right here, everyone was saying we are going much further. We're just getting started. All right. So that's all I want to say in terms of all this. I mean, look at it, just bullish post after bullish post. It's just nonstop on X. Everybody thinks we're just going to the moon from here. Buy any altcoin now, sell in December. Thank me later. It's just nonstop posts like this. Plus, I don't even know, let me zoom out a little bit. I don't even know if these are even legit people. We don't even know if these are legit people or just bots, just like AI bots. These could literally be AI bots trying to throw off your average investor here so that the elites can profit off of it. Maybe. But I mean, just look at post after post after post. Everybody thinks we are just going to the moon here. Oh, I think that's kind of ridiculous there. But here's the viral gold posts. So many posts on X about gold. When gold goes up, Bitcoin's going to follow. Just post after post after post. Look at, do Bitcoin bull runs follow gold bull runs? It's true, there is some sort of a correlation, and maybe we will go up, but just over and over and over we're seeing these. It's just gone absolutely viral ever since Raul Powell talked about it. Like I said in his video, he said, don't take this literally, like we're going to go to the moon right away. We could have more months to wait. Just look at this. Every single post on X is just everything saying we're going to the moon. Is your average investor typically correct? No. If our average investors, the people shouting on X, were always right, we would all be rich. And none of us would lose money in these crypto runs. But what happens historically? Everybody gets bullish at the top. I'm not necessarily saying we're at the end of the cycle here, but everyone gets bullish at the top. Let's go over here. Everyone was bullish at this peak in March. Okay, so I could say everyone gets bullish at the peak. Everyone was bullish at this peak, super bullish. Coinbase was ranked in the top 10 there. All right, that shows that your average investor was getting really excited. Everybody was bullish on all of these peaks. All right, but let's look at this yellow line. Let me try to clear this up a little bit. So let's look at this yellow line. Look at how closely, at least since the Bitcoin ETF was released around, wait, where was it? Was it released over here? Yeah, it was released over here in January. Look at how closely Bitcoin follows this global liquidity line. Now, this is not just the global liquidity. Let me repeat. This is not the global liquidity line that's going viral on YouTube. This is the global, this is the change in the global liquidity over time. It's a little bit different. If you studied math in college, you'll know what I mean. If you're not good with math, this is how fast the global liquidity changes over time. Let me see if I could pull up the normal global liquidity. So the normal global liquidity, let's see if I still have it. Yeah, so it's the normal one is this one that just goes kind of straight up, but it kind of tapers off. But then the other one is a little bit different. This is the change in global liquidity. Let me clean this up a little bit. I know it's a little crazy on this chart, but just got to deal with it. Got to deal with all these indicators. So yeah, look at how closely Bitcoin has followed it since around over here. It already showed we were going to peak out pretty soon. You can see it's not perfect. You know, it peaked out here. Bitcoin still had a run up. But then the yellow line was going down, and then Bitcoin had a long, slow downtrend. This was March 2024. Man, we were ranging for months. 6 months. That was brutal. And then it starts to go way back up really fast. And Bitcoin followed that to a T, exactly peaked when the rate of change of global liquidity peaked. Boom, perfectly there, December 17th, before falling off. I wish I had this chart back then. Back then, we just had the global liquidity chart. We didn't have the rate of change of the global liquidity. It was just falling off a cliff after that. And Bitcoin followed exactly. Now, it did bottom a little bit before Bitcoin bottomed. So actually, Bitcoin still had a few more, maybe a couple weeks. Let's see. It bottomed March 18th, and Bitcoin bottomed April 7th with the Trump tariffs. And that was really kind of a black swan event. So it's not crystal perfect. But look how it started going up. Bitcoin absolutely went off on a tear, making a new all-time high. Stalled out for a little bit, went back up again. Went for another all-time high, and then it peaked. So then Bitcoin went for one last attempt for an all-time high, and then it's just fallen off. And does this like fall all the way to zero? No, it just falls off a little bit. So I'm not meaning to scare y'all that, you know, this is guaranteed the end of the bull market, because it's certainly not guaranteed the end of the bull market. But it looks like there could be a little more downside. If not more downside, it's certainly possible just sideways action, and perhaps any pumps that we get could be short-lived and they could get rejected, and we could be heading back down into the lower 100s, maybe even down to like 99. It's certainly possible. Especially like a wick down there is definitely possible. So, you know, it's just really important to be aware of this as people are getting super bullish on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. We are simultaneously seeing at least some short-term bearish signs. Let's take a look at some of the charts. Let me see that I wanted to look at. So we have this Bitcoin cycle chart that I've showed a lot. This is showing more of a downtrend for the next month or so for November. So that's a concern. It's not guaranteed. Maybe we just kind of go sideways, or maybe, you know, pumps to a new all-time high are very short-lived. Now, we also have this. This is the S&P averages. Make sure we see this. Over 5-year averages for the S&P 500. And you see how we're potentially peaking. Let me zoom out. I guess I have to zoom out here. We are potentially, let's see, can you see that? There we go. Potentially peaking October 29th. But this is just based on the 5-year averages for the S&P 500, not 100% guaranteed, but it's following it very closely. As you can see, we're following this red line pretty closely with the S&P 500. Crypto tends to follow the S&P 500 quite closely. So could have another correction in November, certainly possible. So it's interesting to keep that chart in mind. And Russell 2000 has already hit the 4.236 extension. If you take this Fibonacci from the, when was this? Oh, the 2008 crash. We've already hit the 4.236 extension, showing that it's possible the Russell could be maxing out on its upside in the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, we just continue higher like this chart shows. So, still nothing is guaranteed, it's still tricky to predict. And then here's the chart that's just going absolutely viral on Twitter, on X. And it's talking about the gold versus Bitcoin. But like I was saying, in Raul Powell's video, he's saying it might not follow this exactly. We could, be trading sideways for months. It's still possible, but he thinks generally we have more upside in the next year, maybe the next year or two. So that's interesting to note. And I'll need to come up with an XRP. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want me to come up with an XRP video, because at least on the XRP cycles chart, it's looking actually pretty bullish for November, which is really interesting. Note there. Okay, so viral posts on X. The astrology, as we talk about astrology on this channel, is actually looking really good in the short term. We see October 28th, Mars trining Saturn and Mars trining Jupiter at the same time. And then we have Mercury trining Neptune. There is a slight negative on the 28th, Mercury opposing Uranus, but that's not a big deal because we also have Mercury sextiling Pluto. So the general astrology, at least, is positive for the end of the month. Bitcoin was overall positive. There weren't any major negatives, other than one coming up on November 1st where there's a concern. November 1st concern. But other than that, everything's looking quite positive, at least for the next 4 days or so, with this positive general astrology. So, yeah, I mean, overall, that's looking good in the next 4 days. So we could have more upside. So, it's not to say everything's doom and gloom. Bitcoin is at 115, but we do need to close above 110. But I mean, you just look at this change in global liquidity. Bitcoin's trying to go up right now, but we could just get a rejection here. Certainly possible. That's what I'm leaning towards. We also look at my indicators with liquidity gaps, and let's see. We see this red box here. That's a big gap in liquidity where there is all sellers back here on October 10th. It was all sellers, no buyers. So to close this liquidity gap, there's a chance we could get up to 119 for Bitcoin, maybe even to 120. It looks like 119,742. So there is a chance we could pump up to that. Everybody gets bullish. We close that liquidity gap, and then markets dump again, and we go back down to follow this yellow line once again. So that's really what I'm leaning towards. We see this similar liquidity gap also when we look at altcoins. When we look at others, let's see. Yeah, so similarly, I mean, you look at this red box. The others chart could also go up here. I have this this yellow circle. It could go up there, get everybody excited, and then we get a correction. I also want to, when we look at past corrections with altcoins, this is the others chart. We look at past times that we had a peak, and then we got a big correction, and then we get a retrace up to the yellow circle, and then we fall off. We continue to fall off after that. So we keep seeing this pattern over again, where we get a peak, then we get the dump back down. Let me zoom in. And then we get this pump to this yellow circle there, which gets above this box, but then we fall off a cliff after that. Now these are the altcoins, not including Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. But yeah, could this pattern repeat where we go up again? We get above this box, we close that liquidity gap, but then we might just like fall off cliff again. I can't count that out, you know, it's certainly possible. And if that happened, we could still even be bullish, even if we do that. Like if we do dump down here, obviously that's bearish in the short term, but if it could build up if it can continue to build up higher lows again, we could move back up. It's possible. But yeah, I mean, in the next few months, maybe it's not super great. And then if we look at the monthly scale for the total crypto market cap, we got this intense selling in the month of August, where we got this candle, which is pretty close to a gravestone doji, which historically is super bearish and can lead to months of downside or sideways action. Because, you know, the month of August, we got all this buying pressure, everybody got excited, but then massive sellers came in, and that could have been Wall Street, could have been smart money selling the market back down, closing the month slightly in the red, and then the next month wasn't able to beat the peak in August, and then this month hasn't been able to peak in the peak in August. So we still could have a couple more months to go before we surpass the peak of August. Could even lead into next year, in the best case scenario, because that's the best case scenario if we even continue the bull market, because there's always the chance that the bull market is just over at this point. I can't say that's not possible. So really tricky markets. I just wanted to come on here and share that because, you know, a lot of people just kind of follow what's on X. They follow what's in the news, but they don't realize that, you know, typically the crowd is always wrong. Because we look, everybody got excited back here in December. A bunch of people started downloading the Coinbase app, buying crypto again at the absolute peak of the market. You know, that was right here. At the time, that was the peak of the market. People were buying right there. You know, typically the crowd is wrong. We had a massive downside after that. They might have sold at a loss. All right, so that's just how this game works. I've been doing this since 2017, so I just wanted to warn you guys. I want to be one of the honest voices out there. While everyone's getting super bullish, thinking we're just going to go straight up from here, I want to just let y'all know that that might not be the case. All right, I want to be the voice of reason here, the voice of honesty in a chaotic market. Let's look at how much greed is in the market. All right, we're neutral, it looks like. Okay, neutral today. But yeah, it's just really fascinating how much euphoria there is on Twitter, or everyone's turning bullish all of a sudden. The 24-hour volume is still kind of low. I mean, we're not getting a lot of volume. Oh, I gotta make sure y'all can see this. All right, so I want to show you guys the right side here. Yeah, so we're not getting a ton of volume over here right now. We need to get more volume in the market if Bitcoin and crypto and altcoins are going to move up. Because if this keeps going down, we're in trouble. If we go below 46 billion, that's not good. We're getting close. We're at 52 on the daily exchange volume. So That's a big concern. That's another reason I'm not feeling super bullish right now. But if we start getting more volume, then we could. So I'm not making any guarantees here. I will let y'all know, that, if we do get an altcoin run in November, I'll let y'all know I was wrong about this, but I just wanted to come on here and share this. All right, let's look at the comments. Just because you took some profits off, don't be negative about this. See, and people are already going against what I'm saying. We are not being bullish at the top, though. We are being bullish at the bottom. And how is this the bottom? How is this the bottom? Even on the total market cap. I mean, I see what you're saying, but also like how is this the bottom? This is not the bottom. This is not the bottom. The bottom, where everybody should be buying, is down here. We've moved up a lot since then. A lot. Just saying. What bottom? It's literally 8% from the all-time high. Bottom will be 40 to 60K when it happens. Right. It's possible. Yeah. Fear and greed is at 42 neutral. I don't think people are that bullish. Your X feed may be showing you bullish posts because you keep clicking on bullish posts. Maybe. Okay, XRP video coming soon. Can we get a Solana update? Yeah. Okay, I'll need to come up with a Solana video. Looks like a trap to liquidate retail. Yeah, certainly possible. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Quick announcement, the Crypto Astro Mastermind is still going strong. Just came out with a massive, mind-blowing, incredibly packed with knowledge and wisdom, looking at the 2026-2027 astrology in my private group, Crypto Astro Mastermind. And I talked about in this call, if we are going to get an extended cycle in 2026, 2027. Is crypto going to continue? What are the stars saying? What are the crypto cycles showing in regards to astrology, looking at the crypto astrology, the Bitcoin astrology chart for 2026, 2027? Is there a chance? Is there hints that are showing us we could get an extended cycle? This was the amazing masterclass that I just released in this private Crypto Astro Mastermind. All you got to do is click the button here, read the video, read the testimonial stories here, all of these screenshots of people who have been in the group and been able to benefit from all of this incredible data that I'm giving y'all. So you sign up here and you can get an amazing, amazing deal. If the coupon's still available, we have a limited amount of spots. You type in the coupon code. If the code works, then you get this incredible, amazing discount. If it does not work, then that means the spot is already taken. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Get access to this